Hey guys, this is Backlog Gaming here with another video discussion. Today we're going to be talking about Blade and Soul. It's a new upcoming MMORPG that's going to be free to play on the PC. It is rumored that this could potentially be on the PS4. I haven't really looked into that much detail about it to see if that's going to happen or not. Today what we're going to be covering is the classes of the actual game and seeing what we have here. Just a brief overview of what we're going to be covering. We have Blade Master, Destroyer, Summoner, Force Master, Kung Fu Master, Assassin, and Blade Dancer. So we'll start with the Blade Master at first. Blade Masters have a wide variety of attacks and defensive skills, making them a powerful force on the battlefield. Their techniques rely on high-speed attacks and careful maneuvering around the enemies, dodging and parrying without pause, while countering with any attacks with devastation ease. In this battle, the Blade Master is able to swiftly switch between stances, allowing for many combinations of attacks in either their basic stance or for blindingly fast draw stance. Calling on a unique set of skills only available to those stances, with a flock of blades technique, they can summon a flurry of flying swords to overwhelm their opponents. The Blade Master is a well-rounded class and is easy to use, but built to be difficult to master. It takes a great deal of skill and quick thinking and that to be effective, but there is no overt disadvantage that enemies can exploit. Now, the available races that we have here for this is going to be the Yun and the Jin. Now, you're going to be limited on, it's kind of like World of Warcraft, like you have to be a certain class. A certain class has to be linked to a certain race in order to use it. So, the available races, Yun and Jin, this is going to be primarily a one-handed sword wielder from what I'm seeing here. Could be dual swords, but I'm only seeing one sword. So, from there, it's a picture of a guy. He's just holding one sword. So they have these different stances that they can switch into to attack. Now, on their difficulty to master rating, this one sets out of 3.5 stars out of 5. So it's average, skill based to master. Not to master, but to actually play the class. It does look interesting. I don't know if it'll be the one that I'm personally interested in. At the end of this video, I'll give my impressions on which one I want to play, and then we'll go from there. The next one's going to be a Destroyer. Now, to read their paragraph to their name, Destroyers have the most stopping power of any class in Blade and Soul. With their overwhelming presence, Destroyers provoke enemies into attacking them as the biggest threat around. Once they have their opponent's attention, they overwhelm all who stand in their way. The iconic skill of a Destroyer is the ability to grab a staggered enemy, dominating them in battle as they are left defenseless before the Destroyer's might. Fallen opponents become weapons as the Destroyer hurls them into other enemies, while friends who could not keep up are safely carried out of harm's way. The Destroyer's strong attack of power and defensive skill make them seem like a lone wolf, but they are most effective in group combat. They complete other classes like Assassin, Force Master, and Kung Fu Masters, allowing each setup to be devastating combinations of joint attacks. Available races is just going to be the Gon. So what we're seeing here is this going to be a battle axe wielder from the picture of the art to the side. And the Gon race appears to be another human-based race, a little bit different than the previous human that we saw, the Yun or the Jin. A little bit more beefier, bigger, bulkier type individual. This may be, I don't know if they're going to be doing like the Holy Trinity, to where you're going to have like healing, tanking, and then DPS. So it'll be curious because it kind of sounds like the tank of grabbing attention of their mobs, and then the other enemies are going to be able to just wail on them. So they have a couple of moves here. Judgment, Grab, Hurricane, and Stone Shield. So those are pretty tankish. Grab is kind of like a taunt is what I'm thinking, or could be a CC move unless he actually physically grabs them. And then he has the Stone Shield, which obviously I feel that's going to be a defensive buff. but we will see. From there, we're going to go down to the Summoner. Now, the Summoners are only, well, we'll backtrack here. Destroyer is 2.5 stars, so it's not as complicated as a Blade Master. It's only 2.5 stars. Now, a Summoner is going to come in at 2 stars, so this is the lowest one that we've seen so far. The Summoner and their Familiar are a team fighting together to overwhelm their enemies. The Familiar rushes into the thick of it, dealing heavy physical damage and holding the attention of their opponent. Meanwhile, the Summoner hangs back, supporting their Familiar with long-range skills that both help the feline friend and hinder their shared enemy. Don't let this adorable appearance of these two fool you. Summoner attacks deal constant damage and can readily control the flow of battle, making them particularly hard to deal with. Even if one part of the team is defeated, they can revive their fallen ally and jump right back into the fight. The Summoner and their Familiar are the strongest at transforming health from foes to themselves. While it is a great class for novices, actually mastering the Summoning class will be a difficult process given their wide range of tactics and ability. Now, their available races are going to be the Lin. These kind of look like human rabbits. Now, their Familiars are going to be feline, so you're going to have a tiny cat as your summon. Now, they have a couple notable skills here: Rose Thorn, Bumblebees, Lunge, and Seed Shroud. So, kind of focusing in this paragraph, we're kind of seeing that they can revive fallen allies. So they're going to be able to have some type of res move, maybe a combat res, we'll see. So they may be, somewhat of a healing class. I don't really know. Definitely going to be a damage over time DPS class, so they use dots essentially to kill their enemies. So on to the next one is going to be called the Force Master. Now, the Force Master is a 3-star difficulty, so they are considered normal. From there, unlike other classes, the Force Master attacks at a long range, dealing heavy damage from a safe distance. Their swift strikes and their ability to remain on the move while attacking makes them a dynamic addition to any battle. They are less durable than any other class, so careful positioning is key to survival. The Force Master is able to freely switch between elements. Their sharing fire abilities stack damage with repeated attacks, while the freezing ice powers control the battlefield and enhance their defense. With careful focus, they can even snatch an enemy and hold them suspended in the air, leaving that foe helpless against incoming attacks. Other classes can't compete with the Force Master's ability to handle groups of enemies, but PvP arenas prove more challenging than ever. Only a truly skilled Force Master can overcome the direct tension of a fellow warrior. Now, this class is going to be able to be played by the Yoon, the Lin, and the Gon. Now, what this is a CC type mage that can deal damage with fire, as it stated. They can freeze you with ice, and they're going to have some levitation abilities, probably with wind. So some of their abilities that they have: Blazing Palm, Frost Palm, Phantom Grip, and Impact. Now, I'm assuming you're going to use Phantom Grip and then use Impact to actually throw them to impact them on the ground. So they do have some cool abilities. They're going to be more of your mage type, but I think that's going to be the controlling mage, why the Summoner is going to be the damage over time mage / healing and support mage. This is going to support by CC. The Summoner will basically be maybe heals. We'll see. Next on the list is going to be Kung Fu Master. Now, the Kung Fu Master is going to be your monk type. Now, they are rated at 4.5 stars. They are at an expert level in order to play these individuals. So, here's what it has to say about them. While their mighty punches and kicks can lay waste to enemies, a Kung Fu Master's true power is their ability to catch opponents' attack, divert the blow, and counterattack in a blink of an eye. Due to the precision needed to switch between offensive and defensive abilities, the Kung Fu Master is recommended only for the more experienced player. Kung Fu Masters can control the flow of the combat through use of combination attacks, stringing together a long chain of blows one after another. While this is capable of facing multiple enemies at once, leaping and pouncing from one foe to another, they are most effective in one-on-one combat. The Kung Fu Master's greatest strength is how well they will cooperate with other warriors. By leading the charge, the Kung Fu Masters can force an enemy into submission with its teammates and pour on the damage. Available races are going to be the Gon, the Jin, and the Yoon. And with them, their notable skills are going to be Straight Punch, Guiding Fist, Flying Slam, and Counter. So, again, this is going to be your monk-based class. So, they do look really, really, really fucking awesome. So, I do like the look of them. But they are going to be extremely hard to master since they are going to be the hardest playstyle. So, you're going to be a melee DPS most likely with this. It would kind of be cool if we could get some type of off-tanking ability with them. I'm going to look more into how they plan on doing the Holy Trinity, if they are doing that, or if it's going to be something like Guild Wars 2 where there is no Holy Trinity and it's kind of just a soft Trinity is what they call it. So we will see. The next class is going to be Assassin. Now, the Assassin's ranking is 4 out of 5 stars. It is ranked as hard. While most classes charge in bold and daring, the Assassin is a stealthy sort and that prefers to take things at their own pace. They control the battlefield like no other, luring enemies into deadly traps before they even know what hit them. The Assassin whittles away at an enemy's strength with rapid-fire attacks, causing bleeding and poison damage, which drain the life from their foes over time. While their razor-sharp dagger is vital, they also employ explosive, poison, smoke, and other potent utilities to hobble their enemies. On top of their ingenuity, they can also use strange martial arts that allows them to turn invisible, teleport around the field, and even swap places with enemies in an instant. More so than others, assassins work best alone. However, their status-altering abilities and damage over time effects makes them an important addition to large-scale battle. The only available race to play this is going to be the Jin. Now, it seems that they use dots. It's your typical assassin on any MMO. They're going to use stealth and teleport to confuse individuals, so they're going to be fun to play. In that regard, if you're into that type of thing. Only bad thing is that you are limited to one type of race if you choose them. Couple notable skills they have here: Miss / Heart Stab, Rescue Call, and Decoy. Now, Decoy kind of looks like you can clone yourself and maybe have your clone be out there as a decoy. Rescue Call seems to be some type of swift movement increase, and Hard Stab appears to be a backstab ability, and Miss / I'm assuming is just going to be their normal attack. Alright, so on to the last one, which is Blade Dancer. This one is rated at normal. It's at 2.5 stars in order to play this class. So let's take a look here. The Lin have also taken up the sword, but rather than wholly adopt the techniques of the Blade Master, they have invented their own unique blend of skills exclusive to their kind. The Blade Dancer merges rapid attack speed, high mobility, and devastating control abilities at an expense of defense. Blade Dancers focus on dashing around the battlefield and with blinding speed to evade damage entirely, with both physical and mystical abilities at their disposal. They can dominate the fight before the opponent even realizes what hit them. The Blade Dancer's high attack speed and ability to chain attacks make them excel at one-on-one battles, while their crowd control skills give them an undeniable edge in parties. However, the Blade Dancer must always be aware of their focus and pace themselves and the risk of running out of steam and leave themselves open to counterattack. The only available race for this is going to be the Lin. That is going to be the ones with the big ears. They're tinier. So they're the only ones that can use this class. Now, some notable skills that they have: Breeze, Sunder, Phantom Grip, and Vortex. So they have some cool abilities also, being a Blade Dancer. Kind of like a miniature. I don't know if they're swinging a two-handed sword or if it's just a one-handed sword. So, as a recap, we have Blade Master, Destroyer, Summoner, Force Master, Kung Fu Master, Assassin, and Blade Dancer. So, looking at these, which ones would I be personally interested in? If there is a Holy Trinity, I will probably pick a tank. I'm not a big fan of healing, so if I am going to be playing this MMO, most likely I won't have people to play with, so I will be solo queuing for a lot. And So tank is probably going to be the main thing that I play. Now, if I had people to play with and everything, and I had kind of a static group, probably leaning towards Kung Fu Master, just strictly by their look. I like the way they look. They look really, really cool. So I would not mind playing one of them. In Final Fantasy 15, no, Final Fantasy 14, I did play the Monk class. That was my main. I also played Dragoon, and I also played the Paladin. Some other MMO history with Guild Wars 2, I played the Warrior for a long time, but that's kind of not like the Holy Trinity. And then back in my Rift days, I played the type of assassin type class. I did the tanking, the Bard, which was support, and I did the range DPS like marksman and stuff like that. So wouldn't mind playing an assassin, wouldn't mind playing a Kung Fu Master or a destroyer. Now, normally I don't play mage classes, that's just not my thing. I normally play the brutal classes, but again, if I will be solo queuing, I am going to pick somebody that's going to be strong in the Trinity, so I have smaller queue times. What that essentially equates to is more content that I can focus on making and providing to you guys on YouTube about the game. I don't have to waste my time in queues waiting for my queue to pop. So we will see which one I play if I plan on doing this game. Again, it's for an early 2016 release. I am looking forward to it. I have been for a long time. So from there, guys, that's it for this video. We just covered the classes of Blade and Soul, the new MMO coming out in 2016, published by NCSoft. It does look awesome, so definitely check it out. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.